I'm Katrina. This is So and Tare, and today we're checking in on the pond. We're also cleaning it up.
So I just saw a mosquito, and mosquitoes are not something I usually see. Might have actually gotten bit by one. So as far as I know, on my property, my pond is the only place where water collects. Now, other people's property, I can't speak for them, and mosquitoes do fly from a long way, but I want to make sure that I don't have larvae in here, and I put fish in here, and I just want to check in on them and see how they're doing. And it's kind of hard to do when it is mostly vegetated, and it should not be mostly vegetated. So ponds should have less vegetation than that. So I'm going to take out some of the stuff, and I believe this is some sort of invasive thing. It came in with some plants from my neighbor's pond, so I'm going to try and get rid of a bunch of this. And the chickens ate it last time, so I'm going to try and throw it in with them, and maybe some quail too. Whenever you're working by the pond, take your keys and your phone out of your pocket. Maybe my sunglasses too. So these types of stuff also work well as mulch, green mulch, like underneath trees and stuff. We'll see if the animals want it, and if they don't, then I'll mulch it under trees. As long as it's not in wet areas, then it won't root. There is a bunch of duckweed on top, and people use that for feeding their animals. My chickens have turned it down, but I think it was because it was wet and they were unfamiliar with it. So, but you can feed that to your animals, and if you dry it out, maybe they'll like it better. I don't know. Maybe I have picky chickens. Now, I'm not seeing larvae in here, which is good. Now this other stuff in here, this, I know it's a pretty good plant. This is water hyacinth, and your animals can eat those as well, but they are highly invasive, so if you live near a water system, don't plant this in your pond, but I don't, so I have it. Now I do want to keep some of this. This is watercress. So I'm actually going to put that to the side. Now a lot of peaches did fall in the pond, and I think they probably rotted in the pond. In there. Which is not the greatest. I'm wondering, it smells a little eutrophic. Eutrophication is when there's too much nutrients in the pond, in the water. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add water because it's a little low, and I'm going to go to the store and get some minnows just in case the minnows die. Sometimes that can happen if you have eutrophic water. And I'll show you. I'll put a link up to a video I did a while ago, but this is barley straw. It's probably time for more, but this will keep algae from growing in your pond. You need time for it to start to rot, because then an enzyme gets released. This is doing good. There's a couple of these in here. I probably need to pick up more, so I think I am going to make a trip to the store and pick up more of these and some minnows and throw in here. I'm still not seeing mosquito larvae, which is really good, but I did need to get out here and at least clean out part of the pond. Alright, I'm going to put my watercress back in. Actually, I'm going to put it in amongst the other stuff so it kind of floats with it. And I think I'm actually going to use these as a mulch. There's some stuff in there. I don't know if the birds can eat it or not. here's a close-up of the water hyacinth. When it's sunny in the summer, it does flower. It gives a really pretty purple flower. I'll try and remember to put a picture in here for you guys, but and it has purple roots. Let's see if I can rinse it off. Well, I don't know if you can really tell, but it has some purple roots in there. These leaves are filled with water, or not water, these leaves are filled with air, so they float, and that's what makes them float, is the base of the leaf. There you go. And these will propagate by just growing, and they keep on growing. And you can get more and more and more. They do die back in winter, so there's that. There you go. So other plants that I have in the pond include the horsetail, which is the big tall thing here. I'll show you in a minute. And then I do have some calla lilies, and the calla lilies are actually, they're both in pots, but the calla lily is actually in a floating pot that I made with poo noodles. I have one that is sinking because poo noodles work, but they do degrade and they're plastic, so it's not good. And then the other plant in here, I don't know what it is. So this is the other plant I have in there, and it's a low profile. It has yellow flowers. It doesn't have yellow flowers right now, so yeah. But got this from a neighbor in her pond, and it took a while to take off, and then it just took off. So yeah, if you know what this is, this is one leaf. If you know what that is, let me know, because it's in my pond. All right, let's fill her up. So my pond actually has a permanent hose that I have to it, and I put it through a piece of conduit and buried it in my wood chip pathway. That way I don't have to lug around hoses, and I don't have to, if I dig into the pathway, I don't have to like sever a hose. So that's what's in there. I'll show you the complicated water system that I have, and then how it comes out. It's easy. All right, so here's the complicated hose system. This goes to a hose that I use for watering, just like a regular hose. And this is actually RV, short, like 4-foot RV hose that's connected to garden hose. Then the split on here goes to this split, and this split goes to the waterers for the chickens and the rabbits and the chickens, the racking house, so the racking house, Parmesan, and the main quail aviary. And so that is always on. I have tied this to on position so that that water never gets shut off with a piece of wire. And then this is for the one that goes to the pond. And it does leak when I turn it on, but you know, that's okay. I turn it on. You usually don't turn on all the way. I'll show you what that looks like. So that goes, looks like it goes underground. It goes, I have some mulch here in the pathway, but there's the hose right there. It comes out, and you can see it's bubbling. And it's just a little garden hose, and I don't like to fill it up a lot because I don't want to make the water churn. I just want it to increase slowly, so that's what I do. And that'll go for a while. Now, the one thing to remember with this is that it's on. You walk away from it, it's still on. Yes, I have left it on for too long. I have an overflow, so that is a good thing as well. I'll show you that right now, just to come full circle. But it's best if you don't leave it on forever. Set your alarm, come out in half an hour. If it's really low, come out in 15 minutes if it's not really low. But remember that it's there. So I'll show you the overflow. All right, so there's where the water goes in, and that's a pretty good sized pond, hand dug. And over here, oh boy, am I even gonna be able to get in there? All right. Hopefully you guys don't fall in the pond. So this is the the edge of the pond here, you can see the black stuff. I'm actually going to weed this out as well. Actually, it's a really good view right there. So we're just going to take all this out. It will regrow quickly, that's for sure. Okay, cleared most of it here. And so the water level is way down there. And we have, it goes up right here. And underneath this rock here, actually, I'll probably pick it up. Let's see if I can do that. It's in there pretty good. I don't really want to move it. Underneath this rock here is a overflow. So the water can get down there, and there's overflow. This is backed by sand right here, so it packs in. But the overflow, I'll show you where that goes. So the overflow is right here, and what I've done is in this bark chip pathway, I have actually dug a trench. It's about 4, maybe 5 feet wide by maybe 1.5, close to 2 feet, or 4.5 feet long by about 1.5 to 2 feet wide. I don't think it's quite 2 feet. And so what I did is I dug a trench so deep that the water, if I poured a bucket of water in there, it percolated through right away. So it took a while to get there. It was more than a couple feet. It's deeper in the front, and we did another one of those in the front. But I have the downspouts from both sides of the house, from the back, and the overflow for the pond going into that. So what did I do? I lined it with landscaping fabric. I put a bunch of cinder in, so that's the cinder rock, the red cinder rock, lava rock, and that is very porous, and so that can hold space but not water. And so I put that in, I covered it up with the landscape fabric, and then put the wood chip pathway on top of it. So that's why you don't see me doing manure management on top of that part of it. So far it's worked. It worked all through this winter, which we had a ridiculous amount of rain, and it's great. So if you're gonna dig a pond, dig an overflow. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll put some clips in here probably of pouring the fish in, and you'll be able to see that. But if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. You've seen the pond now a couple different times. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and have a great time. Yeah, thank you for watching. Enjoy the day. So got these little fishies last night. Got 15 ruby red minnows. I think she gave me more than that. And 5 comet goldfish. These guys are good in ponds. Again, I don't have risk of flooding here, so they're not going to be released into the wild or anything. They did not have the barley bales. They're going to come in today, so we'll have to get those later. But these guys have been floating for about 15 minutes. They only need like 10 to 15 minutes. You float fish so that the temperature of the water inside the bag is the same as the temperature outside the bag, and that gives them less stress and an easier transfer. So that's what floating's all about. I just got them at PetSmart. They're feeder fish really, but both of these fish air breathe, and so that's good for the pond. Alright guys, be free. Here we go.